magical tools. Hello, Gemini. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. We are going to be doing for you the deluxe guidance for 2022, starting with our month-by-month year overview, and then moving on to the Celtic Cross year overview. Now, I wanted to take a moment here at the beginning of the video to mention that I do offer readings in a few different formats depending on your price point on my website. And I also have a Lenormand deck available on my website. So if you would like any of those things, please check out the links in the description box. I am getting ready to make custom videos available also. So if that is something that interests you, I invite you to head over to my website and check it out and take it from there. Alright, Gemini. Let's begin with your reading. You can go ahead and set your intention. Of what you would like to accomplish over the year ahead, 2022, and also keep in mind that because I am publishing these videos toward the end of 2021, that some of the information included in this video, especially because it is a general reading, has the potential to change. Because we all have the capacity for great personal growth, Gemini, and especially a sign like yours, mutable air. So, that said, let's begin. These are the cards for January of 2022. This is very interesting. We have two knights coming out together. We have the Knight of Swords, the social justice warrior, and we also have the Knight of Cups, someone who follows their gut instincts. And we have the Moon in the reverse. So it's entirely possible that you will be coming out of a dark night of the soul coming into 2022. And you will be guided by your intuition and your sense of justice. So, this Knight of Cups and Knight of Swords could also be you and another person, or they could both represent you. It could represent you and a partner, you and a close friend. Gemini, of course, being an air sign, but you could also have water prominently in your chart. The Moon reversed is a very obscure and dark energy. It's very tricky to navigate because there's a lot of secrets that are still unknown. Let's look at February of 2022. So here we have the Ace of Cups. This is a new emotional beginning for you in February, just in time for Valentine's Day. We have the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Now this is tricky because the Queen of Swords reversed is somebody who can be extremely manipulative of situations. And this is not necessarily somebody who is emotionally manipulative. That would be Queen of Cups reversed, but this is somebody who is going to take advantage in situations and has ulterior motives stacked on top of ulterior motives. We also have the Page of Wands in the reverse. And the Page of Wands is usually about a new creative start to something. A new passionate boost coming into things. And the Page of Wands can be a much younger fire sign person as well. So where we have this Queen of Swords and this Page of Wands reversed, this Queen of Swords could be quite emotionally immature, actually, also, and possibly have fire in their chart and embody not only the Queen of Swords but the Page of Wands. Somebody who's kind of a busybody, somebody who is following drama around and cleaning up the scraps. So for you to have this Ace of Cups in the upright energy, I'm not quite sure how this person fits into that, but I would exercise great caution, because if this is something that they're doing to other people, they're going to do it to you too. Alright, let's look at March. March of 2022 for the sign of Gemini. And I am going to give it a riffle, I think. Give it a riffle. Interesting. So we have the Page of Cups following up the month with the Ace of Cups. The Page of Cups can be some kind of offering. Now it can be a romantic offering, but it could also be a job. And a lot of times the Page of Cups will have a fish in their cup representing money. We have the Six of Wands, which is victory. This is a victorious energy. And back in the month of February, where we had that Queen of Swords reversed, and we also had the Page of Wands reversed, if you have fire in your chart, it is possible that you're embodying that energy and then end up being victorious despite a disparity of power in March. And that could be due to this new emotional start. So that's a possibility for how those energies would play out. We have the Temperance card here. So even though Temperance is Sagittarius's card in the major arcana, it still has a very watery energy to it because you're transferring the fluid between these two containers. So we have this Ace of Cups from February, and we have this Page of Cups then showing up in March. Some kind of offering. So imagine this Temperance as weighing out the options there before you finalize that choice. The Temperance card doesn't doesn't necessarily mean a choice. It can be similar to balance. There's a lot of mastery involved in the temperance card too, in that the skill required to pour liquid between the two vessels and the patience without spilling a drop is a hand with much practice. So this could be about you handling a situation in which there was a lot of manipulation with a lot of finesse, and that helped you to get through it to your benefit. Now we're going to look at April. O'Neill. We have two fours. We have the Four of Cups, which is about the options that you will have open to you in the month of April. You might not be choosing one of those options at this time. We have the Four of Pentacles, so conserving your resources also. And then we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. So if you are in a partnership at that time, there might be an ending to a relationship. This could be a friendship. This could be a romantic partnership. It potentially could be a business partnership, but because it's the Suit of Cups, it's more likely an emotional relationship. And I am going to pull the Queen of Swords and the Page of Wands back from February. So we know that in February we are going to have the start of a new emotional cycle. And this could be within this existing relationship, potentially, where one person is very manipulative and one person feels kind of impotent and powerless in their presence. And I also want to mention that, swords typically are associated with air. And so, feasibly speaking, a Gemini person could be that Queen of Swords in the reverse. So it is possible that could be you in the situation. But I also want to point out that sometimes you can be really functional and be a very complete person on your own. But the wrong person is going to bring out all of the worst traits in you. And not only that, but that they might end up being someone who is projecting things onto you. Or creating situations where no situation exists in their own mind. So no matter how functional and non-traumatizing the energy that you bring to the relationship, like if that's somebody else's perception of your relationship, then things are not going to work out. Alright, so now we're going to look at the month of May, and some of you Geminis out there are going to be celebrating your solar returns at the end of May. We've got some very good cards here, starting out with the Hermit. You may be opting to go on an inner journey, and we have this Ace of Swords here too. The Ace of Swords is a card of change, much like the Death card or the Tower card, but the difference with the Ace of Swords is that you are affecting that change from within yourself. And so this is going to require a lot of introspection. Coming from a card like the Hermit, and access to this bare bulb by which the person on this card is reading, illuminating, lighting the way for knowledge to come through. We have the King of Cups here. And the King of Cups is upright. The King of Cups is a very fostering, paternal energy. And this King of Cups could be a potential romantic partner coming in. Doesn't have to be man or woman. This is somebody who is an actively nurturing figure in your life. So the kind of person who will buy you groceries or feed you, or, you know, but taking like an active part in your life. Not that you should be expecting that from that person, but that they care for you in an active way. And this could be you also making these active changes to care for yourself or for another person. But because we have the Hermit here, this energy with the King of Cups very much comes across like either you seeking out advice from a paternal figure in your life, or you being that fostering paternal figure to yourself. Alright, so now we're going to look at the month of June. And the rest of you Geminis who are not having a May birthday will be celebrating your birthday in June. So let's find out what you can expect around the time of your birthday. Very interesting. Okay, so Gemini, typical to your divergent nature, splitting off into two paths. We've got some very split energies here for June. On the one hand, we have this Ace of Pentacles in the upright. This could be a new opportunity for you to make money. It could also be a new source of money coming in for you in the month of June. Combined with that, we have the Strength card reversed. And we also have the Ten of Swords reversed. So, what this says to me is that you are not going to have the strength to make an ending to something that you need to. Alright, Gemini, so now we're moving on to the month of July. July. Yeah, you might not have the strength to end something, or you might be postponing an ending to something in June because you want to deal with it later. But it would be better to be strong and go ahead and end it, I think, in June. Make it a good birthday present to yourself. Closure. Of course, it's easy for me to say that on this side of the screen, is it not? Alright, July. See, here in July, we have the Six of Swords. So this is a departure of some kind. You could be moving. You could be taking a trip. Six of Swords is a card of motion. We have the Sun here in the reverse, too. Things are like almost perfect. But not quite. And we have the Three of Pentacles. And that is in the reverse. You could have responsibilities taken away from you at this new job that you've gotten in June, because your expertise is not trusted yet. And that may be causing you to have second thoughts about investing heavily in this situation and possibly quitting that job and getting a new one. Although, it seems like with the sun in reverse, it could have been a job that seemed on paper to be a really good one. And then you get there and they treat you like you're an idiot. And man, if the wrong co-workers and supervisors can't just make or break a job situation. Alright, so let's look at the month of August. Well, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So, having achieved a lot financially, but not having gotten to where you wanted to. And the Queen of Pentacles can also be about smashing glass ceilings. So, there might have been something about you, whether it was your gender or your race or some other preconceived notion that people had about you at the job that led them to not respect your opinions about things and not respect your professional expertise. We do have the Page of Swords here. The Page of Swords is a fact finder. So going on like fact-finding missions. This could be, sending out resumes also, but not specifically related to work. This could be corporate espionage. Anytime I can bring up corporate espionage, I am going to. And then we also have the Four of Wands, so you will have a reason to party. The Four of Wands can also be a card of marriage, so some of you might be getting married. With this Queen of Pentacles in the reverse and the Page of Swords, I don't know that you're necessarily going to leave this job, but you could be kind of sending out feelers and trying to figure out why is it that these people have these preconceived notions about me at this job, and what can I do to show them that I am competent and that I do know what I'm doing. Because another possibility with this Six of Swords is that you actually moved to take this job. Alright, and now we are into the last third of the year. No, that doesn't feel right. I'm sorry. I need to shuffle these cards some more. Shuffle them relentlessly. Because now we're going to be talking about September, which is almost a year away from when I will be releasing these videos. So, really gotta get it together for that. It's a long time from now. Alright, so September. Ooh, you're going to have a choice to make. Ooh. You're going to have a choice to make. You have this Two of Swords, and it is in the upright. Now, this person is wearing a blindfold, but you can choose to take that blindfold off and go into this situation fully aware if that's how you would like to handle it. We have the Hierophant in the reverse. You may be encouraged to go against societal norms and whereas we had the Four of Wands upright here in August, the Hierophant in the reverse can be about divorce, strangely enough. So maybe you get one of those quickie Vegas weddings and then you end up getting divorced right away. But, you know, at least you got a good party out of it. You could have a divorce party too. And we also have the Five of Wands in the reverse. So this to me speaks of a toxic workplace where there's like a lot of frenemy action going on. And we have these two fives here. The Hierophant being the 5 from the Major Arcana, and then the 5 of Wands also, which is fire energy from the Minor Arcana. So it could be choosing to go your own way and, you know, buck tradition off of your shoulders, or deal with the toxic competition and grab mentality in a traditional workplace. Because I do see the potential for that here, especially in August, where we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and you're having to go around and kind of like figure out why people don't trust you. And then also that Three of Pentacles reversed, like it looks like this job seems very promising in the beginning, and then once you take it, of course, the reality sets in. I would really evaluate in June whatever this situation is. Also, with the Ten of Swords and the Strength card reversed, this is going to be something that you really need to end as soon as possible. But you're going to be hesitant to do so because you don't feel strong enough to do it. And that may end up affecting your professional life in some way. It may not. Again, this is a general reading, but people might look at that and make their own judgments, even though what you do is your own business, and they really have no idea what your life is like. So how could they say whether you did what was right or what was wrong? You did what was right for you at the time. But you're going to be faced with this choice in September, and I do think it could have to do with this job. So next we're going to be looking at the month of October, and that really is going to be fully a year away from when I am doing this reading. But that's how year ahead forecasts work. So we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. And again, this could be speaking to this job situation that is kind of unfolding for you here. It not necessarily that you shouldn't take this job, but understanding what it's going to be like going into it might help you cope with it a little bit better and not get overly attached to something that's really not going to work for you long term. Because this Page of Pentacles in the reverse, it's like rescinding an offer of money. So maybe like you could have been, this could be like a 6-month review or something too. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or maybe they do like quarterly reviews or something like that. And you end up not doing very well on a quarterly review, and you're kind of like, well, that doesn't make any sense because all of the things that you're saying are not true. But we have also the Three of Wands and the Five of Swords coming out for October as well. And this is really good because what this means is the Three of Wands is energies returning to you threefold that you have put out there. And then the Five of Swords is a decisive victory. Now it is a victory at the expense of friendships and at the expense of alliances often, but it is based in truth, and it is based in what is going to be right for you long term. The Five of Swords is a very harsh energy, though. But I think that by the end of next October, you will have come through a situation very decisively because of that Three of Wands and Five of Swords energy. Let's see what is going to happen for you in November and December. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so we do have the Five of Cups, which is about disappointment. But we also have the Justice card in the upright, so that's justice in your favor. And we have the Six of Cups, which is somebody returning from the past, possibly, or something returning from the past. So, justice returning to you from the past, in a past situation. But there is going to be some disappointment, and it might not even be about the same issue. Again, because this is the Gemini reading, the disappointment could be that you feel like the justice should have brought you more. But actually, when you look at the totality of the situation, that what is equal and what is right is not necessarily how you would have done things. So that's possible. And this could be a situation returning from the past. But it's also possible that you're disappointed about how things went down at this job, and then justice returns to you from a past situation. And this justice could have also included like a settlement of some kind too, but I know Pentacles came out with that, so it's not necessarily a financial resolution to a situation. Alright, finally we're going to look at the month of December. Alright, so Gemini, you're coming out in your reading as the Lover's card in December, feeling yourself. And I really like the Lover's card in this deck. I love how like they're like lighting matches off of each other's mouths. That's very intense. It's a very intense energy. The Lover's card, of course, can be about a romantic situation, but can also be about a choice. Very much like what we had here. Where was it? Yeah, back in September, we had a choice also. We've got the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is kind of like feeling like you are under attack from all sides. I kind of like feel like the energy of this card is it's lonely at the top, you know? Like, who are your friends, really? And it's interesting that in this deck there's an association with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I regret that I don't remember a lot about the book. I do remember 42 is like the meaning of everything, the meaning of life. In order to give an extra layer of interpretation, but I do know it has to do with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so if you have any insight you'd like to share about that, please let me know down in the comments. And then in 2023, we've got the Nine of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment card, coming out in the reverse for the end of 2022, which means that there could be a wish Alright, Gemini, so now I'm going to do the crystal scrying. The scary crying with my geode. And we're just going to go through month by month. Month by month, month by month. And I'm going to give a little bit of extra insight to the cards using the geode. So, what do I need to know for Gemini for January of 2022? What extra insight can I offer to Gemini regarding January of 2022? You know, like, when you ride the bus and it's raining and everything's just like sticky and it smells bad and it's awful. Awful, awful, awful. I'm really getting like that sense for you in January. But, most places are not horribly humid in January, so why am I getting this sense of the public transportation being all muggy and humid and gross and rainy in January? This could be in an equatorial region to where it's hot all year round pretty much. What is important for Gemini to know about this? Like pack a poncho, pack some rain boots. It's gonna be sticky and gross, but you're gonna make it through just fine. And when you get home, you can take a shower. What should I tell Gemini about the month of February 2022? This Queen of Swords. You're gonna like that person a lot at first. You're gonna think that they're amazing. You're gonna think they're sparkly and fantastic. You're gonna be like, oh, you're a Gemini just like me, right? I mean, they could be a Gemini, they could be a Libra, they could be an Aquarius. But they're gonna leave you feeling like this Page of Wands reversed. All sizzle and no steak. And you're not gonna pick up on that at first, necessarily. I mean, I'm giving you this reading, so feasibly, if you watch this reading, you could intuit that. And this person could be a romantic partner. They're the kind of person who doesn't like to be single on Valentine's Day, let's put it that way. So, like, you know, just like you might not have been the first choice. Now I feel like I'm doing one of those toxic BFF ASMR videos. What about March? What do I need to tell Gemini about the month of March for 2022? March is going to be a comparatively chill month. You're going to be, you know, getting this offer coming in. This might be a romantic offer from that Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords doesn't necessarily have to be a man or a woman or, you know, non-binary person. Only that the energy of that Queen of Swords in the reverse is very manipulative. But they're gonna train you to like them very much. You know what I mean? Like that manic pixie dream girl energy is what they're giving off. But that's not the totality. But at this time, there's going to be like a balance there. Yeah, at first everything's going to seem really great with this person. You're going to go out and have a good time. So it's entirely possible that, I guess a lot of readers call this like a karmic connection, that this person is going to teach you a lot about yourself. So you can choose to go down that path if you want to, and I'm sure that's what they're talking about here in June, about you should end this thing. What are we talking about for April? April of 2022. You're putting out job offers and resumes in April. And this is when you start to see this situation kind of turn inside out. So this isn't going to be a terribly long situation, this with this Queen of Swords in the reverse. But that Four of Cups and Four of Pentacles, like, it's kind of a wait and see energy. So this is when you are going to be putting out for a job. And I would urge you to not get distracted by this drama in your romantic life. Because, you know, like, you really want to be focused on what is going to be the best situation for you, and don't be distracted by people's websites or what people say in the job description. I want you to be, like, very analytical going into this particular job search, because, you know, like, there's a lot of stuff going on toward the latter half of the year to where you might, it looks to me like you have this relationship for a few months, you've got this job for a few months, and neither one of the things that comes to you in 2022 is necessarily going to pan out the way that you want. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have a good year. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on too, and by the end of the year, I feel like you've really got yourself together. But you know, there's just like a couple of, and I've heard a couple of other tarot readers say, what is meant for you will never pass you by. But you know, like, anybody can get gum on their shoe, right? Anybody can step in gum, anybody can step in dog crap and drag that into their house, unbeknownst to them, and get it all in their carpet before they even realize what's going on. So, just be alert to these things in 2022, Gemini. Don't be overly taken in by how cool people seem, I think, is like the overarching energy here, and especially where I'm seeing like the Strength card in reverse in your, you know, June, which is typically like the Gemini birthday month here. Like, that you're not avoiding these things actively enough. So that's my caveat for you. And that's kind of how I handle the month by month, because honestly, like, the month by month can be a little bit grim when you break it down each month, 3 cards, and evaluating and looking at the year ahead and all of these potential situations, you know. It can be a little bit, it's not as much fun, so that's why I like to go into the overview reading next. Anyway, let's continue. So now we're on May, and some of you are going to be having a birthday in May. Toward the end of the month, what do I need to tell Gemini? This King of Cups, even though this is a water sign, has a very, like, Capricorn energy. Somebody who's very practical, very successful, somebody who could be a good mentor to you. And this doesn't need to be necessarily like a man. Could be a woman, could be a non-binary person. But the important thing about this King of Cups is that they are really going to advocate for you. Because they see all the work that you're putting in. Right? So then that's why, look, that's why this situation becomes so important. I don't think it's going to make that person cut ties with you necessarily, but we don't see them show up for the rest of the reading, right? They might be distancing themselves from you because they see you proceed in a certain way and not end something that needs to end in June. What about June? What's going on in June in 2022 for Gemini? Well, happy birthday, of course, to those of you celebrating birthdays, but there's also a catch. For some of you, there might be like a death in the family or a massive like restructuring of your most core support structures. So I say like death in the family, but it could be that like maybe like your parents get a divorce. It could be that like your siblings all move out of the house at the same time. That's also possible. But it's going to be a decentralization of these energies. I apologize. They've been flying really low out of Van Nuys Airport lately. Not quite sure what that's about. It's going to be around the time that you get this job. This King of Cups could be this person. Could be a person who passes away in June. It could also be that you move away, because then in July we have that Six of Swords, the energy of moving away from your family. And maybe you've always been super close to your family, and so this King of Cups is no longer able to offer you the same kind of support. And that Ten of Swords might be that decentralization, and that you are not strong enough then to proceed on your own. You don't yet have what it takes to make a different outcome for yourself because of what happens in June. So, for some of you, you might have more control over that, and some of you might have less control. So, you might be taking this job because you feel like it's a good opportunity for you to establish things for yourself. What about August? What's going on in August for Gemini in 2022? I'm hearing, didn't you get that blah blah sheet yet? The wrap sheet. But like, what is this? What are they talking about? Didn't you get that report yet? And it's something that's been done. It's been done for months. But for some reason, it became your responsibility when you came on board. You weren't given any of the background information about this situation. So this Page of Swords is going to be you piecing together the parts of this report, like your predecessor at this job could have been the one who was working on this project, and then of course they leave, they delete all their files or whatever, and all of a sudden you're left with nothing, even though you were told that you were going to be given all these documents, and they don't understand why you can't put this thing together, even though you don't have any of the materials. The person is claiming that you do. They're sabotaging the heck out of you. That would be this 5 of Wands reversed here. And so you're gonna have that tough choice to make. There is gonna be some kind of cause for celebration here, though. In August, what is this cause for celebration? So back here where we had a tragedy a couple months prior, it might have been right before a family member's wedding. That's possible. Gosh, I'm really sorry. I hope that didn't come through too loud in the recording. I apologize for my corporeal form. I swear that eventually I'm just going to be showing up in light body and transmitting you psychic messages directly from the Akashic records. But until that happens, occasionally my stomach is going to make weird noises, and I just apologize for that. So, what about September? What are we looking at here in September? The jig is up. They finally found me. The Renegade, the Hierophant in reverse. This is a really tough energy. You are caught in kind of a difficult position because, like, all these, we got so many 5s here. We've got these 2 5s here in September. We got the 5 of Swords in October. We got the 5 of Cups in November. That, you know, I really feel like you haven't been given a fair shake in this situation. That you walked into something that was just not meant to be fair to whoever walked into it. Like, they would have done this to anybody. You're gonna come out of it really well, though. This 5 of Swords here. It's not going to be in time for you, but they are going to re-evaluate their whole process. Like, going back to this, like this situation from the past. With the Justice card, they're going to look at their hiring practices. And they're going to evaluate, because this is going to be a company that's got a lot of turnover, and it might be a very high-paying position, and that is why you ended up taking the job, because you were like, well, it doesn't matter if I don't work there for very long, because at least I'll get, you know, there might have been a signing bonus. And you end up getting that signing bonus and keeping it, but not getting to keep the job. But, yeah, closing out the year. Gosh, I wish I remembered about this character with all of the... I feel like this is a character from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I don't remember about the character in particular. But really coming into your own at the end of the year, and really being in an enviable position. An enviable position. What do I need to tell Gemini about December of 2022? Keep your photographs on the dashboard of your car So I don't know if that's somebody specific, but somebody might have, you might be getting rid of the car and be like taking stuff out of the car. Don't forget the photographs that are on the dashboard of the car. Or you might even, like, they might be stickers. I see that they might be stickers. You might just like take a picture with your phone or something. But you're gonna be happy to have those pictures later. Memories, especially like the time that you had with people that maybe you don't see anymore for various reasons. Alright, so now we are going to move on to the year overview portion of the reading, where I do a Celtic Cross with the 12 houses around it. Alright, Gemini, so here we are getting into the less not fun part of the reading, I guess. I hope that some of you have stuck with me. I always feel like the 10, or like the going through the months of the year, I always feel like that part is really depressing. And then you go through and you look at your year overall and you're like, oh, actually, this is going to be a great year. I'm so excited, you know? Look at all this personal growth. Look at all this development. Look at all the good times that I'm going to have. So, hopefully that will be the same for you, Gemini. Oh my god, my hands are so small, I'm sorry. It takes me forever to shuffle these big ass cards. But I love these decks. Alright. Yeah, so see, in the midheaven position, we have the Nine of Cups coming out again in the reverse. Very intriguing reading, very intriguing. So I'm going to start in the past. I like to start in the past and work my way all the way around. We have the Hierophant in the upright. So the Hierophant can be a marriage, can be a Taurus. It represents following the status quo, and it also represents spiritual leadership. So, you could have been a spiritual leader, you could have gotten married, you could have attended a wedding in the past. This Hierophant could also be somebody who was the spiritual guide to you. This would be more like a corporeal spiritual guide and not like a spirit guide. Be a little bit different. The Hierophant is also going to be where the 1st and 12th houses meet, so I'm really excited to see what cards come out near the Hierophant. So here in the present day, the most current situation of 2022, we have the King of Wands, and that is crossed by the Three of Cups. The King of Wands is somebody who's very charismatic, leads by charisma, actually, and is able to convince people through that charisma to follow him. It doesn't have to be a man, could be a woman, could be a non-binary person. a very, like, whereas the queens are water of whatever energy, so they're a passive energy. So the King of Wands is air of fire. So you've got the oxygen stoking that flame, keeping that fiery charisma lit. And this is crossed by the Three of Cups. The King of Wands is a very passionate person too, so you could be feeling very passionate about things. And the Three of Cups can be about dating a few different people. It can be about a close-knit friend group also. And there is a bit of a party energy to the Three of Cups also, somewhat like the Four of Wands, but not to that same extent. Four of Wands is like a celebration because something amazing has happened, whereas Three of Cups is more like your casual, like, weekend barbecue energy. Your everyday party, not your special occasion party. So, here in the MMCLI, this is going to be the origin of everything that occurs up here in the midheaven later in the year. We have the Magician, and this card is in the reverse. Now, because this card is associated with the planet of Mercury, it's also associated with you, Gemini. But in this case, because it's reversed, even though you're showing up here as the King of Wands, you've got a really strong support group in your immediate vicinity. I sense that you're having trouble manifesting things in the early-ish part of 2022. Now, we've got 2 6s here. It's very interesting. And they're both reversed. And this is your perspective, and then this is the outside perspective on your situation. So your perspective is the Six of Pentacles reversed. That perhaps you made an investment in something that did not pay off. Or invested money unwisely. So that is different from the Four of Pentacles, in that the Four of Pentacles is like the way that you hold on to money. But the Six of Pentacles is a speculative kind of energy. It could also be about giving somebody money, and maybe they were supposed to pay you back, and then they didn't. Or having to borrow money. That's also a possibility. So you could have borrowed money from somebody. And then from the outside perspective, we have the Six of Wands reversed. And the Six of Wands reversed this is a card of victory. But it's a victory deferred. So maybe people saw you as having a really great opportunity to do something and be victorious in something. And especially if you're showing up with this King of Wands energy, that's a very potent energy. And wands are an active sign, much like swords. Now, swords would be air energy, but I see you showing up more like this King of Wands energy. But people could have seen the potential for you to be victorious in a particular situation, and then, for whatever reason, it ended up not panning out. In the future, we have the Four of Pentacles in the upright, so that's conservation of resources. That is saving money or holding on to relationships or holding on to things. So that's showing up in the upright in the future, that you'll be able to hold on to things. In the hopes and fears, we have the King of Cups reversed. Now, the King of Cups reversed is somebody who can be a little bit emotionally manipulative of other people. But remember that in the 12 months, we had the King of Cups come out, and then he kind of like disappeared. So this could be fear about something happening to that person. in the midheaven position, so resulting from maybe these manifestations are not so fruitless after all, Gemini. Up here we have the Nine of Cups, and it's in the reverse, but that just means, remember, we had the Nine of Cups in the reverse down here in December of 2022, so that it's going to be coming together for you possibly by 2023, that you're going to be setting a bunch of things into motion this year, and a lot of it might not look like it's going to pay off. But I think that come 2023, you will see the results of all of the work that you put in 2022. The final outcome card that we have here is the Five of Wands reversed. So, you could have been really wrapped up in some rivalries. And then you end up, kind of rising above your competition, because remember we had like the Five of Wands here in the reverse, but then by December you were at the Seven of Wands, which means that you've risen above all of this competition with the Five of Wands. Now what's interesting about this layout is that here in the Five of Wands, this is going to be where we lay out the 11th house. And the 11th house has to do with your social groups and social media. So I'm very interested to see what we get in the 11th house, because that's going to really tell us a lot more about what this group of people is going to be like that you'll be interacting with in 2022. Alright, so these are parts of the Celestial Bodies deck, which is another Serpent Fire deck. And I like that they have these really holographic edges. It's an enormous deck. There's so many tools in it. And I'm just going to be using the astrologically inclined cards for the readings. And I'm going to lay out this 12 houses spread on top like this. And then I'm going to make bullfrog noises in my throat and hope that you don't hear them in the microphone. So that's the 12 zodiac signs. I'm going to be, this is like some astrological energies, like the moon phases and some other things like solar eclipses and stuff. And these cards are really lovely. I'm probably not going to do them justice in this reading visually, because I'll be too focused on the meanings, but very well crafted deck. I greatly recommend. Alright, and finally, I'm going to be using these cards, which are the planetary bodies. This also includes things like Chiron, an asteroid, and Black Moon Lilith, which is kind of like a moon placement. It's like the south and north nodes, a little bit. But it was originally thought because of gravitational pull, that there was possibly a second moon that was never visible from the Earth, and that would have been Black Moon Lilith. Okay. So let's get started. This is the first house. And the first house is the house of self. It's also the house of beginnings. So we have this really cozy energy of the moon in Taurus. And moon in Taurus it's a very comfortable energy. It's very much about like curling up with a warm blanket inside. And this is first quarter energy. So heading into the waxing cycle. This is kind of like far enough away from the new moon that the moon is really visible. So a growing energy. It's a very cozy energy and a growing energy that you'll be coming into 2022 with. And remember that back here in the past, we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus's card in the tarot deck. So some of you might have a moon in Taurus. Others of you, this Taurus, this might be a Taurus who has a strong influence in your life. This could also just be like somebody who is a leader to you who makes you feel comfortable. And there is a growing energy coming into the year. Down here in the second house. This is about your finances and stability, and in this house, oh, remember we have this Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So this could have been you borrowing money or an investment ending up being like not what you wanted it to be. And here in the second house we have Chiron in Gemini, your sign. And we also have the energy of the Imum-Celi. So there are things having to do with your origins. Okay, so it's very interesting when we get Imum-Celi and Chiron together, because Chiron is the wounded healer. That's the energies that you are trying to heal throughout this lifetime. So a lot of times those things start out in early childhood. And we do have Gemini coming out here, so there could be tendencies regarding vacillation between two wildly different things as it relates to finances and stability. So kind of a destabilizing force. And Chiron being that you're going to have to deal with that. And this could have been, you know, from very early on in your life that this has been a problem for you that you've been working on. Now we're going to look at the Imum-Celi of the chart, which is, of course, this Magician card reversed. Magician in the reverse. But not necessarily impotent, because we do still have this King of Wands here, who's very capable of manifestation also. So So this is the third house, and it has to do with communication. This is Gemini's native house. It has to do with communication and also short distance travel and sometimes siblings. So, midheaven is showing up here. So, communication and short distance travel are going to be part of this manifestation destiny, eventually leading to the Nine of Cups, and this is really reinforcing that. And another thing that is coming up here, I actually have my Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Aquarius. And Black Moon Lilith is all of the ways in which you end up being vilified. So when you have Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius, it has to do with iconoclastic behaviors that alienate you from your peer group, things that other you. So communication from that standpoint, you know, like the weird things that come out of your mouth, Gemini, the way you present yourself, like you could be traveling to all these different places and be seriously other in all of these other places and really not find much relatability between yourself and other people. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That is something that is actually going to create your destiny. Sticking out from the crowd. So now the fourth house is your home and family. And we do have waning gibbous moon energy here, which is that the peak has already hit. We've already had the full moon, and now we're going slowly waning into the new moon, but this is the moon right after it's full. So there's still quite a bit of light, quite a bit of energy left there. And we have the energy of Uranus in Sagittarius. So this is a very interesting energy because Sagittarius has to do with all of the things you do to elevate yourself. And Uranus really is that iconoclastic energy. So we have Aquarius here in the third house, and then we end up with Uranus here in the fourth house. Whoever this spiritual leader is from your past, I think they could be a part of your family, possibly. And they could also be, if they're not a spiritual leader, they could be like a college professor. They could be somebody who educates and leads others, but not in the sense of the emperor, in the sense of somebody who is leading others to self-improvement. So it would be somebody like a college professor, or a pastor, or another spiritual leader of some kind. And that Uranus and Sagittarius energy, there's like an iconoclastic element to that. That this is somebody who has like brand new ideas and is spreading those brand new ideas. And because this energy is on its way out of being full, I think that is affecting this manifestation energy here with the Magician, that perhaps what used to work really well is not working as well these days. Alright, let's look at the fifth house. And in the fifth house, we have the Six of Wands reversed. So the fifth house is all of your passions. It's the house of the heart. So this can be creativity, it can be romance, and it can also have to do with children. And that Six of Wands reversed, there could have been something that was a creative project or a passion of yours that you have put on the back burner for various reasons. But here in the 5th house, we have really strong energy coming through. We've got the sun in Leo, which is native to the 5th house. Both of these energies are. So very true to that energy. The 6 of Wands is also, fire sign energy like Leo. A card of victory. So, whatever this is, you have a lot of passion and talent there as well. And it's very much like this King of Wands that we have here in the opening of the reading, right? And then the energy that we have going along with this is the waxing gibbous moon. So this is the moon right before it's full, whereas the energy in the 4th house is right after it's full. So that, to me, is kind of like a passing of the torch, that this family member sees you as their successor because of the great talents that you have. Alright, let's look at the 6th house. So, remember that the 6th house and the 7th house, we're looking at this 4 of Pentacles, conserving energy in the future, conserving energy and resources. The 6th house is your daily routines, and it also has to do with your health. And the moon energy that we have for this is the waxing crescent. Now, that is right after the new moon. So, it's possible that your energy levels at this time, even though you're showing up here as the King of Wands, maybe your energy levels have not been so great heading into 2022. But you're holding steady. With the 4 of Pentacles, your energy levels are not great, but you've been able to maintain. We do have Mars in Scorpio energy. Now, Mars is native to Scorpio, and Scorpio is this very transformative energy, and Mars is an energy of action. It's a very aggressive energy. So there could be a lot of vitality in you right now. So even though you're not feeling, you might not have very high energy levels, but you might have like a high sex drive at this time. Very passionate energy going along with the energies in the 5th house actually really well, that the sun and Leo are showing up together, and then you've got another fixed energy with Mars and Scorpio, and of course, like Mars being one of the natives of Scorpio, back before they had discovered the outer planets, Mars was native to Scorpio, and now it's primarily native to Aries, and Pluto is native to Scorpio, but Mars is still considered one of Scorpio's natives. But a very kind of a sexually aggressive energy in your house of health and daily routines. So I would be mindful of that, because that is going to potentially deplete some of your energy. But that's your own business. In your house of other, so this is the descendant house, where we're talking about your romantic partners, business partners, open enemies, and court cases, okay? And we have the South Node and North Node card coming out here, so that's talking about possibly something to do with your overall destiny and your overall life goals. Could be having to do with seeking out justice, but could also have to do with your partnerships in some way. we have the full moon here. So the maximum amount of energy is being given to this. And this is in the sign of Virgo. Now, the card for Virgo in the major arcana of the tarot is the Hermit, which is about spiritual seeking, but it is also about isolation. Virgo is a very analytical sign, almost to the point of neurosis. But there's this aspect of seeking there. Now, Mercury is native to your sign, and it is also native to Virgo. So there is a tie there in that Virgo is mutable earth, and your sign is mutable air. But that does mean that it's a square, and it's a square between the active, warm air sign and the passive, cool earth sign. And those being kind of like opposites to each other. So, to me, that says you're giving a lot of your energy to something very much that's a part of your destiny, but which is a bit counter to your nature as a Gemini. So here in the future, I do see this Four of Pentacles, right? But both of these 6th and 7th houses, I see the potential there for you to be depleting your energy, actually quite a bit. So just watch out for that. And that maybe you're putting a lot of effort and energy into your one-on-one relationships, because that is how you see a way to your destiny. So now we're going to look at the 8th house. The 8th house, 8th house, 8th house. The 8th house is about transitions. That's death, sex, and other people's resources. And remember, we had the King of Cups coming out in the hopes and fears reversed. You could be nervous about somebody's health. We have the transformational energy of the solar eclipse for the 8th house, which is a very good energy to have there. It's about the crossover point in a cycle. So not necessarily the beginning or the end of a cycle, but like that point of transition. Point of transition. Point of transition. The solar eclipse is often linked to the death of kings. So we do have that coming back in again. And that could be relevant for some of you, but obviously this is a general reading that won't be relevant for all of you. We also have Jupiter in Capricorn energy. This could be an increase of wealth related to career. Increase of wealth related to career. And related to practical matters and getting established in the world. So how you use the resources around you to become successful is going to increase over the course of 2022, and that is going to be transformational for you. Now we're going to be looking at the midheaven. And remember all of this that we talked about down here with the Imam Sili. All of these events are going to lead directly up here to this Nine of Cups, which is reversed now, but we talked about it being in the upright in early 2023. And here in the 9th house, this is all the ways that we improve ourselves and to reach our higher self. So we've got like long distance travel, we've got higher education, and there's also like spiritual organizations are tied up in that too. We have the Void of Course moon coming out. So Void of Course moon is the last last placement that the moon forms with another celestial body before it moves into the next sign. So that period in between is called the void of course. And the void of course is a time where it's like a bit directionless. What is the moon really doing right now? The moon's always doing something. So don't worry about that. But it's seen as kind of like an interim period. An interim period. And we have Saturn in the sign of Libra. So Saturn is a very slow-moving energy and is a very long-term kind of an energy, a very established energy. And then Libra has to do with, justice, but also with our interpersonal relationships. So those things being very established over a long period of time. And because there's that void of course there, and it's in the 9th house of all the things you do to improve yourself. I feel like kind of like your downtime is always spent in this this slow growing, sorry buddy, this slow growing kind of it kind of relates to what we saw in the 7th house, that you kind of see that as your destiny, right? This partnership with somebody else, or justice, both of these 7th house Libra traits. That's very much tied up in your destiny, and so that Saturn in Libra energy is going to be the slow and cumulative growth of that. And especially during these void of course cycles in your life where you're kind of transitioning from one thing into the next, you're going to be evaluating these values in yourself in a constant attempt to improve oneself, right? So now we're going to talk about the 10th house, which is career in opposition to the home and family house. And we have coming out there Mercury in the sign of Cancer. This is a communication between people about emotional reciprocity. How are you feeling? How are you making me feel? How am I making you feel? That could be very integral to a job that you will be taking in 2022. Or in your long-term career, rather. Probably more so your long-term career than the job that you might be taking in 2022, because we had already talked about that a bit. And then, along with these energies, we have the highly transformative and sometimes very troublesome lunar eclipse coming out, that you're going to be going through a dark night of the soul, possibly in 2022, regarding this ability to communicate in an emotionally reciprocal way with other people, right? But that's going to be integral to your long-term career. Alright, so remember I said with this 5 of Wands over here that we were going to be talking about the 11th house and this group of people that you were going to be around in 2022. We have the waning crescent, very little energy being given to this. Very little energy being given to this group of people. And then we also have Pluto in the sign of Pisces. So Pluto is the this very transformative energy. And then Pisces is basically like anything is possible, nothing is forbidden. So, and Pluto is a planet. Sometimes it's a planet, sometimes it's not, right? So there's that energy of sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. There's a lot of very unclear energies here, is what I'm saying. So purposefully vague is what I'm hearing. Purposefully vague energies being exuded by this particularly group, by this particular group of people. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm trying not to stumble over my words too much. And that makes it very easy to kind of foster that toxic rivalry among people, because nobody really knows where they stand with each other. No one's giving anybody any kind of context clues to work with as far as, like, you know, what is actually going on. Alright, so we're going to move into the 12th house, and we're coming back around to this Hierophant energy, right? Right. So we've got the new moon. All potential, but very, very dark energy. All potential little energy. Really. And setting us up for a new beginning. This is the ending of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. And we have Neptune in the sign of Aries. Neptune has a lot to do with the higher powers, so very appropriate that it's coming up here with the Hierophant. Aries is about these new beginnings, and also has a lot to do with your relationship with yourself. So we've got relationship to the higher power, and we've got the relationship to the self, and reconciling all of that with each other. So I think that pretty much wraps up the 12 houses spread for your reading for 2022. And finally, for those of you who are still here, hungry for more, don't worry, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the year 2022 that I have at my disposal, Gemini, because even I am only so psychic, and this is a general reading after all. I thought we could do a little bit of bibliomancy before I let you go. And the book that I'm choosing to use for the bibliomancy is The Prehistory of the Far Side by Gary Larson. So these are all like, a lot of these comics were never published. They were deemed like not appropriate for public consumption. Cow Tools is in here if you know about Cow Tools. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna read you this blurb. Mistakes, mine and theirs. Nothing is perhaps more frustrating in this business than to open a newspaper, turn to the comic page, glance nonchalantly at your own little creation, and discover that some behind-the-scenes idiot has screwed it all up. No, strike that. Nothing is perhaps more frustrating in this business than to open a newspaper, turn to your own little creation, and discover that some idiot has screwed it all up, and discover that idiot was you. Between the time an idea for a cartoon gets conceived in my head and the day it's actually published in a given newspaper, a lot can go awry. It might be a basic flaw in the cartoon's premise, a word or two deleted by a typesetter, or the entirely wrong caption set to the wrong cartoon. Whatever, it's just so much fun when these things happen. So, I apologize, you will not be getting one of Gary Larson's high-quality comics in your particular reading, Gemini, but you have 2 other placements, so you can go watch those videos too. But I think that's very appropriate for your reading. There's the mistakes that you're going to make. There's the mistakes other people are going to make. And then there is the beautiful chaos that transcends when everybody screws up at once. So learn to embrace that. I would say that it's one of the better traits of your sign. Not that Geminis don't have lots and lots of great traits. Great traits, great traits, great traits. Much love and respect to Gemini. I hope that you have enjoyed this reading.